Empire.
Heel back to Hachimura! Konnichiwa!
First off, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
It was more just shocking to hear from him and understanding that he gets the most assists from me and the most spoon-fed baskets ever.
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
To sit up there and to say you don't have a culture problem in the nation's capital, everything about the organization points to a culture issue.
One guy took a in another guy's shoe.
I'm a little pissed off about it, but I know how I am. I was kind of expecting it. It's disrespectful.
It was like Eric Killmonger going for total domination. What hug is mine?
We're not going to be fucking sunk this year. We're the Stanley Cup champions! Yeah!
Thank you for joining us today. We are the Beltway Sports Bros. I'm Matt Vazana, and as always, my brother Noel. Real quick, we want to thank Hiko Sticks for sponsoring the show. It's spelled HECOSTIX. Go to HecoSticks.com to see all of the videos and testimonials on the product. When you get there, use our promo code BeltwayBros at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order. Again, that promo code is BeltwayBros. Hey, Noel, it's Friday. Congratulations. Yeah, we got here.
Another week down.
Yeah. Hey, got some more football this weekend, you know?
Yeah.
Football's still happening.
It's still going. You know, it's one of those things where you just feel like you just hope you don't hear something in the news. And we've made it this far.
Yeah. Did you hear that somebody came down with COVID at the Chiefs game?
Yeah, I did.
In the stands?
Yeah, that's good. Fuck them. Fuck them with that racist name.
Yeah. We're the football team.
Yeah.
God damn it. Let me get through this real quick. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebook group. Just search Beltway Sports Bros. You can also find us at beltwaysportsbros.com. Haven't written anything this week. It's been a little busy, but I'm going to try to this weekend, so look out for that.
Slacking, man.
Not enough time in the day. One last thing. If you're listening to the show right now, you obviously are, please hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss a single episode going forward. All right. Later in the show, there will be another installment of a Top 5 Friday, so get ready for that. Just hit that fast forward button right now.
30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Just tap that over.
Yeah, exactly. Briefly to start things off, Washington defensive end Ryan Kerrigan won his very first NFC Defensive Player of the Week this week. He had 2 sacks and a fumble recovery that essentially put the game on ice. Kerrigan also broke Dexter Manley's sack record of 92, so, you know, maybe it was just kind of like a ceremonial Player of the Week thing, but...
No, good for him, man.
It's great. Good
I
for
can't
him.
believe it was his first.
I know.
I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, holy shit, that's his first Defensive Player of the Week?
Well, he's just steady Eddie, you know? He just...
Ironically enough, my son, Ryan, he was disappointed that he broke the sack record because he loves Dexter Manley. Remember, if you recall back in the day, if anybody listens, that was one of his boys that he had on the retired jersey. So he was a little down about that.
But the craziest part about that is that he did that on 22 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
I didn't realize he
impressive.
played that little too. I felt like he was in there. I guess because all the plays he was making were big plays, man. He deserved it. He deserved the game ball. He deserves the sack record. The way he finished it like that, not some bullshit sack. I mean, he went in there and he worked, and he deserved the Player of the Week. Good for him.
Something we haven't really talked about is that he doesn't have to play edge anymore. He's a real defensive end.
Right.
You know, and I think this is going to extend his career as well.
Absolutely.
You know, not having to go out into coverage and all that bullshit.
He's a guy that keeps his body in tip-top shape. He is a worker. This could be a really big year for him.
Agreed. All right, well, let's move on and do a little preview of a Week 2 matchup pitting your Washington football team heading west to play the 1-0 Arizona Cardinals.
The 2 division leaders battling it out.
So, some house cleaning here. This is on Sunday at 4:05 Eastern. We'll be on Fox. The line on this is that Arizona is favored by 6.5. There isn't much to report on the injury front for Washington, incredibly. Linebacker Thomas Davis and cornerback Kendall Fuller both missed last week's game, but they've been full participants this week in practice. Good stuff there. Also, linebacker Cole Holcomb was knocked out of the game last week. He's been limited all week in practice, but he may miss the game, but overall pretty healthy. For Arizona, starting center Mason Cole and safety Jalen Thomas were both injured against the 49ers. Thompson went on IR this week. Also, tight end Max Williams hasn't practiced this week, so he may be out. So there you go. All right, let's start with the Washington defense versus the Arizona offense, shall we?
Absolutely, yeah. They're the show right now, so why not? Right off the bat, they're going against a difficult quarterback. Kyler Murray looked awesome last week. He was extraordinary running the ball. passing the ball beyond to DeAndre Hopkins, he was a little pedestrian. So there's opportunities there. They have to contain him. Have to. Again, like I said with Wentz. Now, Murray's smaller. It'll be easier to get down when they get a hold of him. It's just a matter of being able to get a hold of him. So that it's a tough task, man.
Every time I look at Kyler Murray, he looks like Dark Helmet. I just can't get away from it.
He looks like Ken Griffey Jr. in the Simpsons episode when he takes the gigantism, the tonic.
The brain tonic.
The brain tonic. Yeah, that's what he looks like. He looks like Dark Helmet when he has a helmet on. Then he takes it off and he looks like Ken Griffey Jr. with gigantism.
Yeah, look that up. Do yourself a favor. He was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, ran for 91 yards, a TD against that defense. It's a little concerning, not going to lie. I mean, but yeah, like you mentioned, Hopkins was pretty much it. They were forcing the ball to him 16 times for 151 yards. The guy caught the ball 14 times. I mean, you take him away. I mean, yeah, you have Fitzgerald out there still, but I think they could do something with that. And now they have film on this and know that what they're going to do, what the plan is.
Everybody knows Murray can run the ball. Okay, everybody knows that he can run around like a crazy man, and he's fast as shit. It's just a matter of if you contain it to things that aren't going to be backbreaking, and that's the key. Their offensive line is substandard. It's not as bad as the Eagles were because the Eagles were decimated, but they've got some serious problems on the offensive line too.
Yeah, and they've got injuries too.
Absolutely. I mean, like Justin Poe is really the only name that, to me, and I'm not like a savvy on everything Arizona, but he was the only real recognizable name that I was like, oh, okay, he's good. But this defensive line really shouldn't have a whole lot of problems getting through them, and I think they'll be fine stopping the run, even with Drake. But the Murray factor is the Murray factor. I mean, it just is. It's
him being small, I think, creates a problem too. It's just like a small running back that you can't really see.
Yeah.
Not that you can't see Murray with that fucking helmet. He's so shifty, and he's tough.
Well,
he's really tough.
I mean, we knew what Arizona was going to do, but San Francisco, they're going to be good, okay? And that's the scary part. And you had talked about this before we went on the air, about Washington kind of being a poor man's San Francisco, and that's a little scary.
Exactly. They're structured just like San Francisco, kind of weak corners.
Yeah.
A stud defensive line, okay linebackers. The numbers jump out with Hopkins with a 151, but he still only threw for 5.75 yards per attempt.
I mean,
it's trash.
That's like dink and dunk shit, like, Alex Smith crap.
Always got to take a dig at Alex.
I know. Hey,
any chance you get.
Just comparing. Just you take it how you want. I think that it's doable. I think they need to figure out who the hell is going to cover Murray. That's the real kicker, is who's going to spy this guy? Is it going to be Pierre? Is it going to be Hamilton?
Pierre-Louis.
Holcomb was another guy that could potentially spy him, but who knows if he's even going to play. Yeah. So it's really, I think, going to be up to how those edges contain him in the pocket. But he's going to get some runs in, Matt. He's going to get some. It's just a matter of, like I said, you don't want him to go Vic. Old school Vic, and just run it to the house, man. And those are the ones. You just have to sustain the bleeding a little bit.
And you also have to take into account that the 49ers and the Cardinals are in the same division.
Right.
They know each other. And those games are always
Arizona
crazy.
played them well last year. Arizona played them well.
Right.
And it's a different animal, Arizona is right now. And there's always that wild card. And it's tough. Even for great defenses, it's tough when you have that X-Factor type guy. It really is.
And I'm just happy that they've got film on it now.
Yeah.
For a defense, it's very similar to them. And, they've got some smart defensive coaches over there. Hopefully they can draw something up that...
the concerning parts are also going to be when he does make those, and not just running, when he's making passes on the run. Yeah. You still got Hopkins out there regardless. I mean, he might not catch 14 times for 150 yards again, but... who's covering them? Potentially Moreau or Darby.
Fuller's back.
That's back,
nice.
Which is
That's
nice.
That's a big boost.
I mean, but they also have Kirk, who is a speed demon. I mean, he's their returner as well. They've got a decent outside. Thank goodness they don't have somebody at tight end.
Yeah,
that's really huge. But, hey, I might have just shot us in the foot by saying that, but... they don't have a tight end that the per usual urinate on Washington.
Yeah, there's going to be some frustrating moments to watch for sure in that, but hopefully they can rise above it.
It's just containment, and I think containment on the entire game. Just try to get them off the field quickly, get them shaken up a little bit like they did with Wentz. If they can make that happen, he can scramble all over the place he wants to. If he can't make the play, he can't make the play.
And also, I think the fact that Rivera runs this zone scheme is a big help for that as well, with the guys when he's running out of the pocket, being able to cover that is going to be beneficial as well versus constantly being man-to-man.
Right. You're not having Hopkins and Kirk streak down the field, and then you have two less guys close to the line of scrimmage that can contain Murray. So you're absolutely right about that.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Oh, no
problem.
All
right, let's move on. Let's move on to the Washington offense versus the Arizona defense, all right? So I'll start with this one. The Cardinals held Raheem Mostert to 3.6 yards a carry. And the 49ers tend to be able to run pretty much on anybody. That's a bit concerning. We ran, I think, 2.2 yards to carry in the last game for 80 yards. But I will say that I think the focus on the running game is going to be big on this. I think that they really need to get Antonio Gibson more involved in this game. I think they kind of eased their way in a little bit, but he only had 9 carries in the last game, but he did average 4 yards. He was the only one that averaged anything over 2.
Yeah.
So he was somewhat, and you could see that burst. And this Peyton Barber experiment is fine. I mean, short kind of situations is fine for that. And that is also another reason his yards per carry were so low, I think, because they put him in those short yard situations. But I think that they just need to have Antonio Gibson the guy. He looks way stronger than I anticipated. That's something they should do. And this running back carousel, I think, is not beneficial, and I think is going to hurt going forward. So that should be the first thing. I mean, I think this offensive line, apparently the left side was better, according to Rivera. They got blown up in the first half, but after
not according to PFF. Holy shit. But that's your thing, not mine. I don't look at that crap, but yeah.
I think their first half brought them down so significantly there was no coming back. But I trust what Rivera says about that. I think if they sucked, he would have said that. So Christian and Wes Martin got their hands full. They got to deal with Chandler Jones, who's a beast. Jerron Christian's got to get his big boy panties on, I guess, on that. And one big thing is we talked about before, Jalen Thompson, their safety, it's a big loss for him, and possibly can exploit Chris Banjo, his backup. So, that's something to think about.
You're right. One key to keeping Kyler Murray, which we had just talked about off the field, is for this team to actually produce a couple of drives here and there. How about that?
That'd be
nice.
It's
a wacky idea. So to sustain drives, they're going to have to be able to run the ball some. And I think you're right. I think they're going to make more concerted effort if they are in the game and they're not forced to pass the ball. They will try to do that. And I think that the tight end position is going to be a big spot. I think Logan Thomas in that area, even though the case can still be made that they still need a formidable tight end. But if Logan Thomas is their guy, I think he can genuinely have a decent day on Sunday. And that's a weakness for them because linebacker's a weak spot for them.
Yeah, with Scott Turner getting more comfortable with Haskins and proving that doing more quick passes, slants, rollouts, that kind of thing, doing more of the 2-minute offense, the 5-minute offense, that seems to be where Haskins is more comfortable. So just keep rolling with it. Allow guys like McLaurin to make plays and Sims versus trying to force the ball downfield. I mean, they still need to try it, though. They didn't try it once.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, force the ball. Yeah, I would like them to try to force the ball once or twice downfield. I want to see what McLaurin has on Peterson. I want to see a ball right off the bat, play action, go, and see what the hell happens. Something like that, something to get it going. I think that Haskins, he's got a little bit of an ego. I mean, I don't think anybody can dispute that. He's an NFL quarterback. But I think having a big play will go miles with this kid. I really do.
And he's proven he can do it last year.
I really do. I think if you get a big play, their defensive backs are good. They're soft in the middle of the field at their linebacker spots. They're decent on the D-line. I mean, they've got Jones, but really the focal point of that offensive line and the matchup that's going to be the most concerning is going to be the Christian Jones match. Beyond that, I think the offensive line will be okay. After that, it's just a matter of Haskins making some throws and being able to, like they say, move the chains.
Yeah, and I think they need to get McLaurin more involved, too. They only threw to him 7 times last game.
Hey, if they don't, they don't, Matt. I mean, they have to sustain some type of offense. Right now, I'm not worried about them getting somebody involved. I'm worried about them sustaining drives and finding vulnerabilities in this defense, whether it be Logan Thomas, Sims, Gibson, McLaurin, whoever it is, whoever it is, to sustain drives. That's what they need to do. As time goes on and these other guys show that they can produce, McLaurin will come. I mean, he's always going to usually have the best corner on him because this offense doesn't have shit. And that's another reason why they should have brought in another good receiver, is to alleviate some of that off of him. But they didn't. And we're here now. So figure out the offense, get some other guys noticed when other teams are looking at the tape, so then McLaurin can open shit up a little bit.
Yeah, agreed.
Thanks. Yeah, we're agreeing a lot. This is kind of weird.
All right, so we covered offense, defense, offense. What's your prediction for this game?
I don't know. I'm going a little, it might be a little homer-ish. Might be a little. I'm not sure. I think, I'm going to go Washington.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going Washington. I watched that Arizona-San Francisco game, and I think that San Francisco, beyond the big plays, what Murray did, if anybody actually watched the game from the beginning to end, San Francisco, Garoppolo primarily, and he actually didn't even put up that bad of stats, did everything to possibly lose that game on the offensive side. They were inept. Arizona's defense wasn't playing that well. He was just making bad throws, underthrowing, overthrowing, probably what Haskins will do. But getting back to the prediction, sorry.
That's all right.
27-24 Washington.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that you stick with the formula. Haskins can't make mistakes. You can't depend on the defense to get turnovers in order to score. So they're going to have to put some drives together like we talked about.
Right.
But with all that being said, I think that Washington wins 24-23. Last second field goal.
Wow, we're pretty
by
close.
Hopkins. Yeah, 24-23. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona won this game, obviously.
Do you think Haskins will play well?
No, I think it's going to be kind of similar to last week. I just
Serviceable,
think
as long as he doesn't turn the ball over and shit like that.
I don't think he's going to look like he's never touched a football before at the beginning of the first quarter. So I think that's going to be the difference.
That'll be worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. it'll just be more so like the second half. I would hope.
There you go.
So, I mean, you take that first quarter and a half out of the equation, could have been a much different game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
no, I agree. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't think the defense will play as dominant as they did, and I don't think Haskins and the offense will play as inept as they did initially.
They're not going to be coming completely cold in. They've got film to look at. They've got things that they know they do well. Just hopefully Arizona doesn't take those away.
Agreed.
Sad to say, but Noel and I are getting old, and we've been looking for ways to sharpen our hand-eye coordination and reaction speed, but also like to throw something around outside with our kids once in a while. Then we found this product, Hiko Sticks. Hiko Sticks has 3 prongs, 3 colors, throw it, call the color, and catch the color. Simple, right? It's way harder than it looks, and there are so many ways to increase the difficulty that challenges even the best athletes. For example, Odell Beckham, Alvin Kamara, Joe Burrow, just to name a few. They use it to take their training to the next level. So Hiko Sticks is the winner of the Men's Health Award. Even though it's already being used across all major pro sports and college programs, doesn't mean it's just for the elite. It also has the national standard for K-12 physical education curriculum. With so many shutdowns and gyms closing, Hiko Sticks is the perfect tool to add to your home workout. Or you can just make it a fun competition with your family, while you're sitting at home. You can go to HikoSticks.com for more details. When you order, don't forget to use our promo code, Beltway Bros, and get 10% off your entire order. Catch Hiko Sticks today. All right. It's that time again, Noel.
What time is it?
Top 5 time.
Top 5 time.
All right, so today's top 5 is going to be a kind of a continuation of last week's. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen because it was awesome.
It's a must. Hey, I mean, it's a must. It's one of the tops of the top 5.
And I mean, we don't disappoint with the top 5, but I don't usually laugh out loud to our own show, but the last one I really did. I was in my car and I was cracking up. So if that says anything, I don't know.
You do have a tendency to laugh at your own jokes, even when they're not funny sometimes, though.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Cool.
I just did that.
Yeah. I'll keep that in mind going forward. Again, if you didn't listen to it, last week's top 5 was why we hate going to see games live. This week will be about going over our top 5 people to avoid while watching football games at home.
Right. Now you realize, okay, I don't have to watch the games at the stadium. Not a big deal. I've got my nice TV. I've got my nice couch. Now it's who to avoid at home and make sure that you have a great time at home so it doesn't turn into your stadium experience.
Exactly. It creates a whole new slew of problems that come in.
Especially if you have a nice setup.
And apparently I do.
You?
So, Sorry, I just laughed at my own joke there. Okay. All right, let's do this. Noel, what's your number 5?
Oh, man. My number 5. Guys that bring their girlfriends to watch the game when there's all guys watching the game.
You don't like that?
Why the fuck are you bringing your girlfriend? Okay, especially if she's not a fan. If she's just sitting there on her phone the whole time, she's not enjoying it. You're not enjoying it because you're there with the boys. So there's always that barrier that you can't cross because she's in the room.
Gotta watch what you say.
You gotta watch what you say, or you have to be a little bit nice, or you have to give a shit.
Yeah.
It's a bring down. What are you bringing her for? Everybody's miserable.
What about the guys, like, and this is earlier on, like high school or college or whatever, but like the ones that were obsessed with each other and they would like make out on the couch next to you?
Oh, yeah, right. I haven't seen that. You've
never seen that?
That would be completely unacceptable. Or it goes as far as like her sitting on his lap.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here. We get it. You love each other. Ugh, makes me want to puke.
He's good.
So, yeah, that's my number 5. It's so funny, though. Going back to it. They're always the last one to show up, right? They're, like, always show up, like, halfway through the first quarter, usually. And they walk in. And then everybody knows at that point that she's coming, too. So everybody's having a good time. And then, boom. As soon as she walks in the house, it's just like, parade, done, over.
Yeah. Girls are the worst.
They suck, man.
All right. My number 5 is the fantasy football fan. All right, look, I like fantasy football. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. Love it.
But I love it. But it should not take precedence over the game that you're watching.
Right.
So if I'm watching a Washington football team game, I'm not rooting for the other team who I maybe have an opposing player against. I'm not going to root for that guy to score against my team.
Right. I'll just take the hit on my fantasy team, for God's sakes, you know?
You know, I'm not going to say, look, if they're going to score anyway, okay, fine. Might as well go to that guy. Fine. Right. But if your obsession now shifted strictly to your fantasy football lineup versus actually rooting for the game itself, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. If you know that I'm sitting there on the edge of my couch watching the game, and I'm watching every down, he's like, oh, man, like, I hope they throw a bomb to Hopkins this time.
Like fuck
you, asshole. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're the worst, and they're not
they
fans.
They suck, man. They have no, like, really? This is real life.
Yeah.
Me watching a football game is real life. Don't you know that? You're in fantasy.
Well, yeah, right. But the difference is we've been rooting for this team since we've been able to see.
Right.
And then, you just drafted this team a week ago, and you've dropped all your loyalty.
That's the only player on the entire team that you even probably know. And you're just like, oh, get it to him. Come on, let's go. Like he gives him a PPR points.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, asshole.
Right, dickhead. All right, so what's your number 4?
Question askers.
What do you mean, Noel?
People that are watching a game with you, and I will say, a lot of times it's wives. If you're lucky enough to be watching the game sometimes by yourself and, you're having that quote-unquote quality time, and they don't know a whole hell of a lot about the game. So they start asking questions like, why did they call a penalty there? Look, I don't got time to be fucking your teacher right now. All right? Go Google it. What the hell is this? Like asking me like, why did they punt there? Or like, what is that? Why are they hitting each other there?
What's that yellow line on the field?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's the work. Yeah, and you're there to get away from bullshit like that.
Right.
And then you have to explain. And it's not just wives.
No, not at all.
There's guys too that just admittedly it's not sports fans.
They're proud of it.
Yeah,
they almost come in with like some type of arrogance, almost like a vegan.
Yeah.
That comes in like, I don't eat animals. I don't like sports. Like, ugh. Oh my God. And then they come in and they're like, cool graphics. Like they have a line on the field. Like, what is that? Like, we get it. You don't like sports, dickhead.
Right. Well, that's all right. So my number 4 is the guy who's a fan of another team that's playing the same time as your game. Okay.
Decode that for me, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So you've got a guy who you're watching, let's say in this case, the Washington football team, and their team is, I don't know, the Patriots. Okay. But obviously they're not a big enough fan to actually go and watch their Patriots game somewhere else. They're sitting there watching the game with you.
Oh, got you.
Or they're saying, "Oh well, I don't have access to my game, so I'm watching this one." Well, go fucking figure it out.
Yeah, go to a bar, hit Sunday Ticket like I do, idiot.
Yeah. The worst part about that is that you feel obligated to change a channel during commercials, and you're like,
"You do."
No, I do. I get nervous. I'm like, I feel bad for this guy, so I'm like, hey, I'll change the channel.
He shows up in like his jersey.
Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, why are you
Leave me alone. And of course, when you change a channel, you are going to miss at least one or two plays.
Oh, of course.
Because you got to, like, stick with it. Like, oh, I'm going to finish out this drive for you.
They're at the 20 or whatever. You're like, let's see where this drive goes. And then, there's a timeout, and it drags out, or there's a penalty. It's not just a wham-bam job.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, my God, I thought the Redskins or the football team had the ball, and now all of a sudden the other team has the ball. What the hell happened?
Well, I'm glad this fool's happy.
Yeah, and then you got to scurry to get your phone and see what happened.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. Those guys. Yep, I agree.
All right, what's your number 3?
People bringing people again. And this time, and I had in the last one, kids.
Kids.
All right. I get it. Some people don't take sports as seriously as I do. I understand. I acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. But I respect a person's space. If they like, I don't know, quilting, I'm not going to barge in on them and bring my kids, my girlfriend, whoever it is, and interrupt their quilting time. So why are you bringing your fucking bratty kids around a football game and you have no control over them? They're running in front of the TV or they're screaming in the back. You try to give them a couple of toys to keep them busy. So you've ruined your own time by having your kids watch the game here, because you're not going to be able to enjoy the game because in the back of your mind, you're always thinking about where the fuck is my kid at. So not only have you ruined your time, you've ruined mine now.
Well, because the perception of football games, it's a community thing. But it's not.
It's not.
To people that are real fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a freaking, like, tailgate when you're watching a game.
Right.
Do the picnic time at 10 o'clock. Once 1:15 hits, it's poker time. I'm sitting down at the poker table and I'm trying to win some money here. Leave me alone. It's not that important. It's only football mentality.
Because that's the problem with all these types of fans that ruin your time watching football, is that they don't understand why you take it so seriously. And they don't want to understand.
Right.
My number 3 is the disgusting eater. All right, so number 1, I can't even eat during a football game, during a football team game.
Yeah.
Specifically, I can eat during other games, but I have no appetite. I don't want to see food. Maybe that's just me. I'm just nervous, so I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the remote in your hand or some type of paperweight in your hand, flipping it around. Like,
I'm always
if you're at my house and I'm getting control of the remote, you don't know what the hell to do. You're like, all right, my cell phone. Where's my cell phone? I'll flip that in my hand as if it's the remote. But go ahead.
I'm a little fidgety during the game.
Yeah, you are.
That's all right.
That's fine.
I've gone to therapy for years for it. I'm working through that. But it's like somebody brings nachos over and they're crunching, or if they're eating pizza and they're like, ooh, or. And you just like, you're watching the game and you do that like look over.
Yeah, and you're always on top of each other, because if there's a lot of people there, dude, you're sitting here, he's like got it in his lap, like sitting there eating it like it's in a trough because he has to, because there's no table. Can't sit down. God forbid you just eat first and then come back. No, now I gotta sit here. You know how big a plate of nachos is to sit there and listen to somebody chomping away on this? It's like a fucking T-Rex eating on a brachiosaurus, man.
Or chicken wings.
Oh my god.
Oh my! It's like, and then you hear they're licking their fingers.
I mean, it's a food that is going to make noise. Okay, chips are going to make noise. I get it. You're 2 inches from my face, and I'm trying to watch a football game. All right?
Yeah, it's like Kingpin. Hey, eat that outside.
Right? Go someplace. Finish your shit, okay? And then come back. Seat's gonna be here, man.
And God forbid if you make a fucking mess in my room with that shit. Last time you'll ever do it.
Yeah, and you on top of everything else, you're looking over the noise, making sure this asshole doesn't get shit on your carpet. He's like, oof. And he's just eating this shit. You're like, you're just waiting for that salsa to like drip down.
Get the fuck out of my house. All right, what's your number 2, Noel?
People that don't shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, just people that just talk during the game.
We're not going to name names.
Yeah, have side conversations or, just talking about things about the game that they have no idea. And you're just sitting there like, yeah, like talking about like Riggins during a modern day like I remember it wasn't that guy's number 40, wasn't that Riggins number back in.
Kind of sounded like Pop a little bit there.
I don't know, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. No, but it's just the constant talking and side chatter, and you having to, who's that guy, and why did that guy do that? And you're like, oh my gosh, please just stop talking. You don't want to be that guy that looks over and says, hey, enough. Hey, I'm trying to watch the freaking game here. I'll leave. Do you want me to go? Do you want me to leave? Like, I'll leave. Either shut up and we can watch the game together, or that's it.
Well, there's a certain amount of talking is allowed during that time.
Sure.
Let's talk about the game. Let's not talk about other things. And I think that's the problem. You know, other subjects that
No,
pop
there's
up.
parts of the game that I don't want to hear about either, especially if they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah. But, all right. So, my number 2 is the guy you're stuck with that you don't know. So,
this is on you, partner. This is your household, not mine. Hell no. Like, he likes baseball too. Yeah, fuck
you like
that.
baseball? I like baseball.
I like baseball. Like, I'm good friends with her. I heard she has a really good guy. He's from Virginia. Isn't that close to Maryland?
You know, in the past, I have been stuck in this situation.
Hell yeah, you have.
I've definitely put my foot down since then.
Good for
but
you.
It's a very uncomfortable situation. And then you feel obligated to talk to him. The worst part is that I can't yell at the thing like a psychopath, like I normally do. You have to like put on a show that you're not insane when you watch the game. Yeah, like the first time I meet this guy,
yeah, the first impression.
I'm screaming.
Well, the thing is that you don't know how much they know. Also, you don't know how much into it, and then if also because it's all coming from the wives.
Yeah,
they think somebody knowing how to, I don't know, what a football is made out of knows something about football. So their credibility about what they think a husband knows about a sport is nothing.
It's bad enough to be placed together with somebody you don't know outside of a football game.
Right.
Like just to have dinner with them or something. I'm like, this is fucking miserable. I don't give a shit about this person. I never want to see this person again.
Never in my days. And well, I will thank Lindsay, but had to chip away that marble, Matt. Had to sculpt that. that wasn't going down.
Well, that's fine, but I can deal with it, even though it sucks outside of football games, but you do not do that during that 3-hour period.
Absolutely not. That's
much.
sacred time right there.
It's sacred. Yeah. And just because the guy likes football doesn't mean that it's okay for him to come to my house and watch the game with me.
Right. I don't give a shit if he's a Washington fan.
No.
If I don't know the dude, I don't know him. This isn't a situation for interview time or for me to make a new friend.
Right.
Okay? This is my time. Everyone, this is what all these lists have been about. The stadium list and the home list. This time watching a Washington football game or even a Wizards game or whatever it is, but primarily the football team. It's all about Noel. Don't you understand that? It's all about me. Stay out of my way, stay out of my shit, stay out of my life for that 3 hours of time or however long it is. If somebody's dead, call 911.
All right. So, Noel, what's your number 1?
Numero uno.
Yep.
Rooting for the opposing team just to be an asshole.
Hey, that's mine.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good. It is, because that's the one we hate and we talk about all the time. The guy that's rooting for the other team just to spite you. Like,
they're so horrible.
Like the worst human beings. There's a place in hell for you.
Yeah, they have nothing invested. They're probably not even really a fan of any team.
Just do it to be a dick.
They're the fantasy football fan.
Maybe.
But no, that's usually kind of goes hand in hand, because if you're a fantasy football fan and that's your obsession, you have no allegiance to anybody. That allegiance has slipped away, if you even had one before.
Right.
So they just go out of their way to piss you off.
Yeah.
They're genuinely bad people.
There's a vibe coming from you that you are a serious fan of the football team in your mannerisms and everything else. And it's like they feed off of that and they see that weakness.
They can't understand.
They can't understand it. And they think it's some big fucking joke like, oh, dude. And it's a win-win for them. They can act like a dick. If there's any repercussions, we're like, dude, it's just a football game. Chill out.
Yeah, it's like a cheater in a when you're playing a video game.
Right.
They just have no etiquette.
Or the guy that sucks at sports that plays a game with you and then jokes around the whole time and
he doesn't care.
Like he doesn't care. No, and he's acting like this is just some bullshit game. No, you're acting that way because you fucking suck. All right? That's why you're doing that. You would get your ass kicked if you actually tried. You don't want to go through that form of humiliation, so you act like the class clown.
Right.
This goes close to home for me, this one, okay? And
I think I know what you're going to say.
This is a dear friend, and I'm dropping names these days, everyone. Hell with it. I'm going bonkers here. This is a friend of Matt's. Mm-hmm. Joel. There you go.
Hey, Joel.
So we go to see the Washington versus Green Bay playoff game at the bar. Seems fair enough. Quiet. Just watches the game. Didn't have anything vested in it. Just wanted to go watch a playoff game. Cool.
Just to preface, we made sure that the back room was basically closed and there was a massive projection screen back there, and we weren't around a bunch of people. So I had to do research ahead of time to make sure it was...
We made sure that everybody's OCD was in place before we went into the game. All right, so we made it through success. Unfortunately, Washington lost, but whatever. Mm-hmm. So here we go. 2017. And I still remember this to this day. 2017. Washington needs to beat the Giants, the final game of the season, and lose. Kirk Cousins shits the bed, throws a pick, the whole thing. That's not the story, though. The story is that Joel is a quasi-New York Giants fan. He's a fan. I don't think he's hardcore.
He's from New York.
Okay, he's from New York. Good for him. Bravo freaking oh. So the Giants had nothing invested in the game. They were already in the playoffs and decided to play all their starters. This fucker is rooting through the game the entire damn time as if it's an elimination match. Giants weren't playing for anything in that game. So Matt invites me, and I'll never let him live it down, to this guy's house. Has no seating. I'm sitting on the goddamn floor. Final game of the regular season. I had two options. I either sit on a wood plank or I sit on the floor. I've got a beautiful home, TV. I'm sitting on this fucker's floor, watching this game, having this guy bark the whole game. Moment it started to the moment it ended, like it was the goddamn Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Blackballed, son. Blackballed. And you've been selling him since the moment go, since that day. I walked out to go outside after the game was over, after Kirk threw that pick. He's celebrating inside, kicking up his legs. I thought confetti was going to come down from the damn ceiling. I walk out to the balcony. He knew I was pissed. He knew it.
Well, I think he was more so thinking we were pissed, or you were pissed because they lost the game, which
Fuck
we were.
No, all his entire episode was just complete and utter salt on the wound. That's all it was. Pointless salt.
It was. You can imagine how it was for me, though, because...
Oh, hell with you.
I knew what you were thinking, and I wanted to keep the peace between you and Joel.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, fuck.
There's peace now. Blackballed. Never watch another game.
Joel's a good guy.
Hey, I'm sure he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Ain't never gonna watch another football game with him. Sorry, Joel. You had your shot. My ass hurt. My heart hurt, my brain hurt, and my ears from listening to you the whole game definitely hurt.
Well,
so yeah, there's my story. Joel, love you, man.
Nice knowing you, Joel. All right, well, that's gonna do it for this episode. As always, we're on all major podcast platforms. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you like this show, please share it on social media. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, the Facebook group, and the website, alwaysportsroads.com. Hope you guys enjoy the game.